And welcome back, everybody. Here we are following the Hilltoppers' victory tonight over Virginia Union, 84-71. West Liberty gets the win. We're joined by head coach Ben Hallett, along with Finley Woodward and Kyler D'Agostino. And coach, if you would just give us your thoughts following that one.
Great program win for us. When we try to schedule games that are going to test us. Out of conference games, it's tough for us to get games, but Virginia Union, wanted to play us in the home and home, and I think they're going to be a team that wins a lot of games in their league, and it's going to help us come March. But also wanted to play the game because we knew coming in they were going to play 40 minutes of zone, and that's something that we never see, and it's going to help us improve throughout the year. So. Great quality win. Obviously, it took us some time to figure out the zone, but I thought we cracked it there in the second half and started getting the ball in the gut, which is easier said than done. And then I thought Finn was fantastic in there. Kind of distributed the ball and found guys, and kind of the unsung hero because you look at his stats and you see 14, 5, and 6. But I just thought he was a player of the game and really proud of him.
Yeah, absolutely. Great effort once again. You talked about that first half. It seemed like they were kind of able to play a little bit more at their pace than what you wanted to normally play. Only 32 points at halftime for you. Yeah. That's lower than where you normally want to be. Was it just kind of, as you say, getting adjusted to that zone defense?
Yeah, kind of feeling them out. It was almost like a chess match. They extended their pressure. They went like a 2-2-1 3/4, and I thought we got some good looks out of that. They just didn't fall. And if you look at two of our better shooters, they were 1 of 15 from the game, and Da and Dante, and that's not going to happen very often. And those two guys, they got all the confidence in the world. They're going to start making some shots for us. But it just took us a little bit long to crack the zone. In the first half, we weren't a good passing team, and against the zone, you have to be a good passing team, and you have to shift the zone, and you have to have guys working underneath the zone. And once we kind of settled down and slowed the game down a little bit offensively in the second half, we got things clicking.
Yeah, we mentioned it on the broadcast several times. Just an excellent job by, as you said, Finley at that high post, finding somebody on the low, on the baseline, coming in for a layup. 7 assists. He leads all players once again in assists in the game. Just talk a little bit about that aspect of his game. He was your leading assist guy that returned on this roster, and really he's kind of just picked up from where he was a year ago.
Yeah, he's from year 1 to year 3, he's improved immensely, and kind of a jack of all trades. He can do a little bit of everything. He's improved his rebounding, and he's put an incredible amount of time in it offensively. And as far as his passing, he's always been able to do that, and he displayed it. He can display it, especially when teams sit in zone. He's so patient, and he's able to find guys on the perimeter. But now he's able to knock that 15-footer down. If they're leaking out onto our shooters, Finn's able to knock that 15-footer down for us.
Talk to me about playing a team like Virginia. And you mentioned it already, but coming out of the CIAA, this isn't a program we see. We've only seen them once before. That was 41 years ago. So just explain why that's important to the fans at home, why it's important to play a game like this.
Well, first off, they're an in-region opponent. And I think this is my personal opinion. Come tournament time, they have a good shot of winning the CIAA, and it's a category wins against ranked opponents. I think they're going to be a ranked team in our region, and he just does a really good job. Every year you see Virginia Union up at the top of their standings in the CIAA, and again we want to challenge these guys. We want to we're playing for March, and we want to play ourselves against NCAA tournament caliber teams, and Virginia Union is certainly one of those.
It's nice to be able to play those games in November, obviously, as you get ready for a long run. Kyler, just talk about the game tonight, what that was like in the first half, trying to shoot out of that zone, and maybe some adjustments that you guys were able to make in the second half.
I think the first half we were moving the ball, but we were kind of stagnant, so we weren't getting the best shots that we could. And we started off in early and then went cold and kind of became a little more stagnant towards the end of the half. But the second half, we were moving off the ball. We were getting a lot more wide open looks, and we were knocking shots down.
You don't see zone much. I mean, when's the last time you saw maybe high school? Do you remember? Have you seen much since you've been here at West Liberty? I mean, most teams are just man-to-man straight up. You don't see a lot of 2-3 zone. We've seen other programs. Syracuse for years used it to their advantage with Boeheim, but obviously they're pretty good at it.
Yeah, they're very active in the zone. They move well. They have active hands, and we just tried to get in the middle and try to work off Finn because we knew he was going to make the right play.
Talk to me about just coming out then in the second half and the adjustments that were made. It seemed like you guys were able to play a little bit more of your game. Halftime, you guys didn't have any points off of turnovers, which is not normally the way you guys are. But in the second half, you turned it into 14 points off of turnovers. So you really, I felt like, were able to speed them up a little bit too.
Yeah, we were more active, moving off the ball and gold. Just had more active hands. We just had way more energy in the second half.
Finn, talk to me about your game out there tonight. Another solid performance out of you. You just seem to fill up the stat sheet. 16 points, 7 assists, 5 more rebounds tonight. Talk about you being there at that high post and trying to distribute the basketball to get some of those open layup looks.
I think it's just makes my life a whole lot easier when I play with 4 guys that can really stroke the ball. So they just space out. If I get catch on the inside, I know if someone comes to guard me, someone's gonna be open. So it's just simple, honestly. Like finding the open guy. It's not too complex, but.
You don't see a lot of guys, though, your height and your game a lot of times that do look to pass. It feels like a lot of times that you are a very willing passer. You want to share the basketball.
Mm-hmm. I think that's more to credit to how we play back home and stuff. Is like we play a lot against a lot of zone and stuff. So I feel like it's kind of like what I've been playing for 4 years of high school before I got here. So.
Talk to me about 4 games in. You guys were here last year. You saw a lot of basketball. Just a feeling on where this team is 4 games into the young season.
I feel like we have more potential than last season, honestly. We have a bunch of new guys, which a lot more than last year, and all of those guys are taking big steps every game. Like you got JJ, you have the freshmen too, they're taking a big step, DA's taking a big step, so all those guys are ready to contribute. So,
Kyler, back to you on that too. I mean, you were the one returning starter from a year ago. How do you feel this team has continued to mesh? I feel like you guys are starting to learn one another pretty well.
Yeah, we definitely are. We worked really hard in the offseason and the preseason, and everyone was bought in, so we just kind of play together.
Ben, your thoughts on that? Do you feel like this team's starting to come together now 4 games in?
Yeah, it's going to take even more time, though. And we knew that as a staff that it's going to take, actually playing in games. We can practice every day as long as we want to, but you have to play in games, I think, to improve when you have a bunch of new guys. And we got new guys that were playing at the different end of the spectrum. They were playing more of a half-court oriented game, and then we're playing 2 true freshmen, which that typically doesn't happen here. We usually redshirt a lot of guys, but we have 2 true freshmen that are in the rotation, and that takes time. And I thought you saw J.P. Dragons, who's probably struggled the first 3 games. He was a typical freshman. I thought he came out of his shell today a little bit, hit some pretty crucial shots there in the second half. So we're going to continue to get better, but we got to continue to play in actual games, and close games will help us grow.
A little time off again now to get ready, but you get a chance to jump into conference play when you get Point Park here on Saturday. Any thoughts on what they'll possess and what they'll bring to the
I
floor?
think it'll be very similar in terms of defensively. Their coach is very defensive oriented, and they don't make mistakes defensively. And from an offensive standpoint, we got to be ready to box out. They attack the glass, and it's almost like a football game in there. So important right now for us to rest, to heal tomorrow, get in the training room, get shots up, and then Wednesday we'll introduce those guys and get ready for the game on Saturday.
All right, Ben. Well, congratulations, guys. Again, West Liberty an 84-71 winner over Virginia Union, improving to 4-0 on the season. Hilltoppers back home Saturday when they host Point Park at 4 o'clock.